There's a certain kind of man you meet in life, the kind who speaks endlessly yet reveals nothing of value. He carries himself like he's intelligent, but the moment he opens his mouth, the truth spills out between his sentences. His words expose what he tries hardest to hide: insecurity, impulsiveness, and a smallness of mind. A Stoic man understands something simple but profound: your speech is the mirror of your inner world. You can dress sharp, look confident, and pretend to be in control, but your words will always betray the reality within. Most men don't show their weakness through their actions, they reveal it through the things they say. So imagine this man walking through life with 7 phrases that give him away. The first comes when life knocks him down. Someone else gets the promotion, the woman he wants chooses another, or fate simply doesn't bend in his direction. He looks up and cries, "That's not fair." He's like a child staring at the sky, expecting the universe to treat him gently. But fairness is a fantasy, something people cling to because reality feels too heavy. A Stoic man stands in the same storm and doesn't complain. He studies the ground, adjusts his footing, and moves. He knows the world owes him nothing. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that you control your mind, not outside events. The moment you stop expecting fairness is the moment you discover strength. Boys complain. Men adapt. When a Stoic faces hardship, he doesn't waste his breath. He simply thinks, this is reality. Let's deal with it. Then there's the second phrase, one that weak men love: it's not my fault. Picture a man surrounded by the wreckage of his own decisions. Missed chances, broken relationships, failures he helped create. Instead of picking up the pieces, he points fingers. His boss didn't guide him. His parents didn't teach him. A woman lied to him. He hides behind excuses like a shield, thinking it protects him from judgment. But the truth is, it only traps him in powerlessness. Even when something isn't your fault, it can still be your responsibility. Blame is the language of the powerless, ownership belongs to the strong. Epictetus said that what matters isn't the event, but your response to it. The foolish react. The Stoic responds. When a man blames the world, he gives the world control. When he takes responsibility, he sharpens his mind and builds his strength. The world doesn't honor the man who excuses himself. It honors the man who owns his path. And then there's the third phrase, one of the most dangerous a man can utter: I already know that. Imagine someone offering him wisdom, a lesson, a perspective, a truth that could shift his entire life. Instead of listening, he shuts the door with those 4 words. He says them not because he knows, but because he's afraid to look ignorant. His ego shouts louder than his curiosity. But the moment a man believes he already knows, he stops learning. And once he stops learning, he stops growing. A Stoic never assumes he knows enough. He remains a student, open, curious, humble. Knowledge is endless, like a river. Only the foolish think their cup is already full. There's a kind of man who jumps into every conversation, not to understand, but to feel important. The moment someone tries to teach him something, he cuts them off. Instead of listening, he argues. Instead of asking questions, he pretends he already knows everything. But deep down, he interrupts because he's afraid of looking clueless, afraid of being the student instead of the expert. A wiser man approaches things differently. He knows that even the lessons he's heard 1,000 times can reveal something new if he listens with fresh ears. Seneca once said, "While we teach, we learn," meaning even the teacher becomes better through the act of learning. When a fool says, "I already know that," he shuts the door to growth. But when a wise man says, "Remind me again," he opens himself to mastery. That's the difference: one talks to prove himself, the other listens to improve himself. And sometimes the message you've heard over and over suddenly hits deeper, simply because you were finally ready to receive it. Then there's the man who says, "I don't care," as if those 3 words make him strong. But it's not strength, it's emotional laziness. Caring takes effort. Understanding takes patience. Connection takes courage. Stoic men don't pretend not to care, they simply don't allow their cares to control them. They choose where their energy goes, instead of shutting down completely. The man who says, "I don't care," is trying to escape responsibility. The one who says, "I choose what matters," is taking control of his heart. You'll also meet the man who uses the phrase, "I can't help it," whenever he loses control of himself, when he snaps in anger, makes a reckless decision, or gives in to temptation. He says it like it's an honest confession, but it's really a surrender. The truth is, he can help it. He just doesn't want to do the work. A Stoic man knows his impulses don't define him. He trains his reactions, shapes his emotions, and leads himself with discipline. Saying, "I can't help it," is another way of admitting that your emotions own you. But every man has the power to pause, to breathe, to choose a better action. Control is the quiet strength that separates a slave to emotion from a master of himself. Then there's the phrase you hear from men on the edge of giving up: "What's the point?" They say it when life gets heavy, when progress is slow, when meaning feels out of reach. This question doesn't come from curiosity, it comes from exhaustion. But a Stoic understands that meaning isn't something handed to you. It's something you build through purpose, consistency, and daily action. "What's the point?" is really a request for permission to quit. But life doesn't hand out permissions. You either stand firm in the storm or let it swallow you. Purpose appears not when you wait for it, but when you act like the man you want to become. And then comes the most dangerous sentence of all: "That's just who I am." It sounds firm, even confident, but it's actually a cage. It's what people say when they've stopped growing, when they'd rather protect their ego than change their habits. A Stoic knows life is supposed to transform you. You're meant to evolve, to sharpen, to rise above your old self. The moment you say, "That's just who I am," you chain yourself to your past. But when you say, "I'm working on it," you unlock your future. Growth isn't about rejecting who you are, it's about refining it, piece by piece. A foolish man speaks without thinking. A Stoic man thinks first, and often finds no need to speak at all. His silence carries more weight than the noise of 100 careless voices. Because the more you grow, the less you need to prove. The less you react, the more powerful you become. So imagine a man who removes those weak phrases from his life. A man who no longer complains, blames, shuts down, or quits on himself. Instead, he adapts. He takes responsibility. He keeps learning. He chooses what matters. He controls his impulses. He creates meaning. He keeps improving. And the world can't help but notice the difference. Your words shape your world. They reveal whether you are ruled by emotion or guided by reason. The foolish man reacts. The Stoic man responds. And that difference changes everything. So the next time a familiar phrase rises to your tongue, pause. Ask yourself if it comes from ego or from clarity. Because one will hold you back forever, and the other will rebuild your whole life.